you so much. What an amazing, oh my gosh, the sessions this morning have been so great. Thank you, Curtis Dixon, always for bringing it. And also the ICONversation, or the leadership was just so amazing. Russ is just a live wire. We were fortunate enough to have him on a mastermind recently of my team, and my colleague Barbara Legg moderated that, and it was absolutely amazing. So welcome everybody to the Friday, September 23rd edition of ICONversations. My name is Lisa Parento. I am a broker associate and ICON agent on beautiful Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and I'm thrilled to be the moderator for this morning's panel. And I'm really excited to be joined by international. Two of our panelists today are from Canada. We've got Chris Steeves, as mentioned, and Vinod Bansal, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong on that pronunciation, as well as Melissa Hayworth from Florida and Kristen Vining, who I've had the great fortune of sitting on a panel with before, from South Carolina. So again, super excited to be moderating. And what I'd love to do is open this up for everyone to introduce themselves. So introduce yourself and maybe give us a little idea of maybe how long you've been here at EXP. And then if I would ask you to also share something about you that nobody probably knows about. Or, I mean, this is G-rated, please, or at least PG, but nobody knows about. So let's start, Chris. Let's start with you, and then I'll share mine as well. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so you're putting me on the spot here, asking me to come up with something that nobody knows about me. But anyway, so yeah, my name is Chris Steeves. I'm kind of solo independent agent in Ottawa, Ontario. And I've been doing this for about 14 years. I say independent agent. I do have an assistant, but I've just found, for me, what's kind of worked best and the way I like it is to kind of keep things pretty streamlined. And so, I do most of, really most of my work on my own. But I like it. I have a lot of processes that are very streamlined to kind of make my life easy and just kind of keep everything running. And I don't have a whole team to kind of answer to. But anyways, a little bit about me. I've kind of background. I was a professional snowboarder in my younger years out in the British Columbia, Whistler, Vancouver area. And after I was too old to do that and my knees didn't work anymore, I got into real estate, and here I am.
All right, thanks so much. And so is that something that most people would not know about you? I jotted it down that you
were... Okay. Well, you guys wouldn't know that. No. What do you, coming up with something else that you might not know about me is... I'm sure you guys don't know really anything about me, so almost anything I say at this point is new. But anyway, yeah, I don't really know what to give you for what you don't know about me, but I'm certainly happy to dive into any areas of the real estate world and talk about anything that I'm doing.
All right. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. That was not anything that I emailed
No worries.
Originally. Yeah, I guess, for me, ICONversations too is all about the fact that we all are just, fellow agents. And it's just so nice to be able to have this collaborative platform and just to get to know each other a little bit better as people, because I feel like there's an awful lot of resource in our world about how to sell stuff, right? But what we're going to talk about a little bit more this morning is mindset, and I just like to know about folks. So thank you so much. The snowboarding was really great. Melissa from Florida, how about you?
Hey, thanks for having me. So I'll start out with probably the thing that most people don't know about me is that I have my law degree. I practiced for a while, but I don't really talk about that in my real estate world. And I am in the Panhandle of Florida. I also have a partner, and we have an investment company as well. And so that has kind of really fed into the agent retail side. And I'm a co-lead on a team. We have about 15 agents that we do lead generation for and mentor.
That's great. And how long have you been with EXP?
It will be 2 years in November.
All right, great. And Chris, I forgot to ask you that. How long have you been with us?
Sorry. Yeah, I have been about 2 years.
All right, great.
This is the fourth brokerage that I've been with. I hopped around a few times, and I'm happy here now.
Excellent. All right, Vinod. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Welcome to the stage. Something that we might not know about you.
Lisa, thank you very much, and you're pronouncing my name well. Yes. So one thing I'd like to start a lot when I get emotional or I see emotional movies. That's what. So that's who I am. And for my real estate career, I've been with EXP. I've been ICON in my first year of joining EXP. This is my 10th year in the business. For 8+ years, I've worked with Royal LePage Canada. And again, I was one of their top performing agents there as well. And me and my wife, we joined a team of almost 46
Good for you.
agent partners.
Good for you. Congratulations on growing your organization. That's not easy, as you're also achieving ICON. I can personally attest to, for sure. Thank you. Kristen, first of all, I love that emotional face in my picture, but I love that picture. Please share a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and something we don't know about you.
Yes, Lisa, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be back up here with you today. We are 4 years in at EXP and love it even more so from the day. So 4 here at EXP, 3 prior to that at Keller Williams. And just, it's just feeling really, really good. So, and then one thing that people may not know about me is in my previous role prior to into the Caribbean, and my 15 minutes of quote unquote photography.
Wow. That's pretty exciting. That's very exciting. Happened over those 4 years, I know. And one of the things that continues to impress me is that it would be easy for them doing the opposite. They're constantly looking at ways to innovate and improve the service. I'm sure you've had much more experience than I am in that. So I've been here for it was 2 years in February. So every day I get more excited about being here, the collaboration, the firm. I always tell people I came for the money, but that's not why I stay. Is that I am a scuba diver and I love to dive, and I just got back from St. Lucia a few days ago, and I got to see many joys of life, and I'm also a grandma. Those are 2 things you might not know about me. So I really want to talk this morning. We are as people and as realtors. But before we do that, there is an important question that I want to throw out to you that I ourselves. And that is, how are you speaking to your clients and your family and friends about this shift? I think we have an opportunity to continue to shape this narrative in many ways, because we are the experts. It's about how you're speaking about what's happening in September of 2023. So we'll just go down the road again, Chris.
So
Start.
it took me a second to get my microphone on there. Topic to bring up. This is what's on everyone's mind right now. Interest rates on the rise. There's a lot of economic factors, and I think the reality is the real estate market in certain ways, and it affects buyers and sellers. I do my best to get my head around what's happening, within Canada and on a global level from Canada and the U.S. as well. The increasing interest rates and the of finance and economics, right? So, I think it's important to be followed, and obviously trying to follow along and keep up with options are for interest rates and for when you speak to them, and then from there getting the various market segments from condos to freehold homes to commercial happening in those markets. When you've got a client that needs to sell a home in a certain neighborhood, I think now more than ever it's very important to be really informed, because something that I'm running into is that pricing, the situations of, what their home's worth based on what was happening over the last year or two. So the sellers, you really need to work to help the sellers adjust their expectations. And then buyers, of course, are, they're really they're nervous for one, and they're being very cautious. So the gap between a seller's expectation right now, and so it is a process for minds that ease and give them some understanding of what's happening in the market, and also what's potentially coming down. Difficult to pinpoint because there is a lot of speculation on what's going to happen in 2023, but you really need to understand the pricing, and you need to understand your clients and what their needs are. You have to make sure that you're being very careful with everything you say, and with everything that you be patient as they kind of might only be getting 1.2, so it's really a lot of that I'm happy to kind of get into more detail, but I think that probably gives you a kind of good idea of what's out
absolutely.
there and
You brought
how
up
to
some really
navigate.
amazing points in terms of when we are complete. But Melissa, how about you? How are you kind of languaging the shift? And it may be a different. You may have a different to hear from you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm kind of in a different place. I just tend to all investors. I think it kind of came over from our investment side of my other business, but there's not a lot of difference because our market is still super hot and they're only buying short-term rentals. So I somehow got to be an expert in out-of-state investors looking for short-term rentals. So they're looking at their purchase totally different. They're looking at it, what is the cash flow? And as long as it's still cash flowing at a certain percentage, they're still buying. So I don't have to have that conversation a lot, which is kind of unique to other agents who are representing buyers and sellers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of kind of, at least maybe you're not asked the question, but people are constantly asking me for my crystal ball. Are you, how are you contextualizing or framing those conversations?
I honestly do not have them that much because they're looking at the investment side of the purchase and that's it. And does it work with the interest rate? And they're able to get other types of loans. And a lot of my buyers are cash. So I don't have to have that, which is I'm super happy about. But just from who I'm representing, we don't have that problem a lot. Other agents are having that. And they're definitely seeing a decline in buyers buying based on the interest rate.
Yeah, and you also have the great fortune of probably not a lot of emotion, which is really fabulous.
Yes, it's exactly true, right? Because it's just, does this make sense cash flow wise? That's the conversation that we're having. And, so I give them, prior history, prior rental history on the short terms or the projections based on what are other properties doing short term around them. So I wish I could give more insight on that, but I just represent a different.
That's amazing. That's amazing insight.
Yeah.
So thank you. No, it truly is. So in your market, the investors, it's the same. It's still here's the black and white. Here's the balance sheet. Here's the cash flow. Does the cash flow or not? It's it's just a set of numbers. I love that. That could also encourage some other agents to maybe consider expanding their niches and maybe looking more into educating yourself on how to work with those investors. That's really great. If Cheryl Hope was on here, I'm sure she would love that comment as well for our Express Offers program. Matthew, what are you finding in New Jersey? Oops, nope, sorry, wrong one. Oops. Oh, let's see. Kristen, what are you finding in your market?
So we definitely are rebalancing. I love your question about mindset, and I believe that we have a really great opportunity right now to sort of switch the narrative with our sphere, with our social channels, as the experts, and take this whole. I mean, we all know how tough it is right now with inflation and recession, and the other day I heard depression. I mean, it's just like it's all so depressing. But I do think that there is an opportunity right now for buyers to, and we've all said this, right? For us to marry the house and date the rate. Yes, interest rates are rising, but if you switch the flip and we're educating our clients to go, okay, hold on, think about this. We're in a position right now to be able to go in and not only negotiate, but lift any sort of, negotiate those contingencies, talk about back to closing costs, getting, the seller paid closing costs. And I just think that there is a really strong opportunity again for our buyers to go, okay, I actually can probably take a breath and maybe maybe schedule a second showing and not have to do the sight unseen nonsense that we've been doing for the last 12 to 18 months. So, from our perspective, I mean, I partnered with one of our local lenders this morning. We did like a less than 2-minute quick video that I'm going to post a little bit later on our social channels, talking specifically to getting out there, having fun with buying again, shopping different interest rates, shopping different homes, and just kind of taking in that notion this is not going to be my forever home. What goes up comes down. This is not a matter of if, it's when. And this will come back down. This is you just look at the history of real estate. It will come back down. So I personally think this is a really great time for us to circle back to our sphere, circle back to the buyers who dipped out because they couldn't compete with all the cash. They couldn't compete with the 6 figures over asking and lifting everything. For them to be like, you know what, this is where we're at right now, and there's a couple houses just at the market. Let's go see them this weekend. So I think we're in a really kind of cool spot with our buyers.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, to kind of, find a way to turn this into positives and look at things in a new light. Finad, I skipped over you. So sorry. Could you please share your thoughts on how you're languaging the current shift in the market?
Yes, definitely. So I'm from Toronto, Canada, Ontario. So we have been looking that it's a lot of upside down things that are happening. As we can see, it's happening everywhere in the world. As rightly mentioned earlier, that inflation is the problem that every government is kind of facing, hard time to deal with, right? So interest rate hikes, it's happening everywhere. And if we talk about Canada, so certainly we have been looking these, interest rate hikes. So which pushes a lot of buyers to the other side of the fence. But how I'm doing my things is, as you said, that it's all about mindset. So I always try to, kind of discuss with my clients and families, okay, what are your goals? I mean, if it is short-term goals, so then certainly you wait and watch, because I've been working with a lot of investors where they were kind of flipping properties. They were, buying properties, renovating them, and then selling it off for quick money, basically. But if it is a long-term buyer or investor who can hold the property, so this is probably the best time for them to buy. If we compare January and February this year and now, so I would say in Canada, overall, it's 20 to 25% prices are down. So it is the best time for anybody to buy. Now for the sellers, how we do it is that, okay, if somebody is selling, if they're cashing out, so that's a different story. I mean, they don't have to sell today. I mean, if they have no emergency, they can wait for 6 months or a year. But if they're selling and buying, so again, I mean, if they're selling on a little lower side, so they're buying the property, they are saving a lot there as well. So my mindset is that, I mean, trust yourself. If you can do it, just get it done. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, inflation is there today. Again, the stock market is tumbling down by 500 points. So, and everything for me, I feel it in that way. Everything is on sale right now. So, I mean, if you have money, if you have funds, so certainly you can invest and you can, grow your money very easily, basically.
Everything is for sale right now. I love that.
Yes.
That's a great way to look at it. So I'm just going to kind of paraphrase a little bit of what everybody said, because I think that these, from different perspectives, they've been so great. I think being in touch with a mortgage broker partner, one or two, and as Kristen, I think mentioned, doing a little quick video, getting that out there, having your sphere know that you're doing everything you can to stay on top of what's happening. I think that's a really great idea. I just jotted it down. I'm going to reach out to Dick Lee, who's one of our partners in EXP Agents, to see if we can do something for sure. I know from the smartest people I know that have been around with the last major shift in the 04 to 08 timeframe, we've been leaning a lot on that in different education ways to find out the people that did that did well during that time period, what would you have done differently? What did you do that worked? And one of the things that they continually come back to is, this is the time to become a pricing expert. If you're not already a pricing expert, that's the one thing that people are going to be looking to us for. And so that just means digging further in to all of your current market data, knowing it, driving it, being aware of what's going on and continuing to be that pricing expert. That's what we can, one of the very few things can control in this kind of, market where there's kind of new rules, apparently. That in terms of clients, we were saying buyers and sellers, the expectations that for both are really, we need to, I think, as you guys have mentioned, listen to their concerns, understand where their expectations might come from, and then guide them to more of the reality that we're moving into. I mean, certainly with sellers, we had one day last week when I looked at our hot sheet, I had 37 price reductions and only 32 new listings. I've never seen 37 price reductions in one day. Maybe I haven't been looking closely enough, but that was very staggering for me. And I mentioned it to a seller who has an overpriced listing with us. I did a screenshot of it and sent it along. Just so that he wouldn't feel he was alone, that this is, a little bit of a shift, and that we just need to be aware of it and act on it, if you will. In terms of the market itself, Lawrence Yun, who most of you probably know, YUN, is our chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. He is speaking regularly on his opinion on what's happening. In fact, I'll give a shameless plug to the Residential Real Estate Council. This is CRS week this week. Today's the last day of CRS week. And Lawrence Yun, actually at 12 right now, is doing a webinar. It'll be replayed at 4 o'clock. So if you Google CRS week, you'll find it. They're free to everybody this week, the webinars. And Lawrence Yun is on there with a couple of other experts. And listening to him and then being able to say, well, Lawrence Yun stated, it just helps us sound more knowledgeable because we're quoting the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, who's quoted everywhere. So he is on today, right now live, but you can look at that replay at 4 and or just, follow him on social media to educate yourself in that way. I continue to find that what we can do is offer certainty, and because everybody feels so uncertain. And that certainty comes from us being experts and from us leaning into other experts, for sure. So thank you for sharing that, guys. I think it's going to really help everybody and I know it's helped me, hear from your different markets, how you're actually speaking about what's happening. So now on to mindset, and a couple of questions I just want to throw out for everybody. We can go in order, or you guys could just, speak out as well. But one of the things I find is so important is to be really honest about acknowledging things that were failures or apparent failures and how you grew from that and how perhaps it set you up for success in the future. So if you guys would be vulnerable enough to share kind of a favorite failure of yours and what you learned from that and how it set you up for some later success, I think that would be really helpful for us all. So would anyone like to volunteer, or shall I just go back in line?
I will.
Oh, okay, Kristen, go.
Okay, perfect. So I believe we've all been here in terms of working with, I guess the most, well, can we say challenging clients? Is that okay to say that? And I think
Kristen, we lost your audio there.
us in these situations is.
Oh, I thought it was me. Kristen, we lost you for a sec.
Oh, did you? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect.
I thought it was me.
Sorry guys, I'm back online.
Can you hear me okay still, Lisa?
I can still hear you, Kristen, yes.
Okay, fantastic. So so the nuts and bolts of it is that we ended up having to terminate a seller yesterday. And, we've had to terminate them over the years before for a myriad of different reasons. But I think that it's very easy to feel like you've failed You feel like you failed yourself. You feel like you failed your brokerage. You feel like you failed the clients. And with some of the ones that we've had to terminate, say in the last year or so, what has been a saving grace for my head and for my sanity is that I'm not attached to the outcome any longer. We can't control all the different personalities that come into, transaction. Every transaction is different. Part of it makes each of them different, as you guys all know, is you got different personalities coming together. So I think, if you guys start to get there with, any sort of sense of failure in this business, it's to just kind of check in your head. There's so much that's out of our control. And if we know in our heart of hearts, and we can lay our heads down at night knowing that we've done the very best by our clients and by ourselves and by our morals, values, and beliefs, and you're not attached to that outcome, it's so much easier to swallow when those types of things happen, when these failures happen. So I'm just of the mindset to not be attached and to always believe that failing forward is of the utmost importance.
Absolutely. And do me a favor, though, identify from that releasing clients. Is there anything, any red flags, any kind of thing that you've learned that has changed the way you look at clients as they come on, or something like that? I'm just wanting to find out, dig a little deeper.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest, it's really difficult to do this, right? Because when you go into a listing presentation, or if it's even your own sphere, because unfortunately we've had to terminate sphere. I've had to terminate past brides of mine, which is crazy. You start dealing with somebody's largest asset, you start to see different sides. And I think if it's a lead that comes in, it's not part of your sphere, you're interviewing one another prior to entering into that agreement. I definitely think that if there's any sort of red flags, or you're having some sort of like instinct, or there's just something not right, like it's just not the right fit, be okay at that point walking away from it. And again, it's tough, especially right now when we're all out there sort of getting back to the quote unquote basics, right? Because it's not flowing in the way that's just kind of been handed to us on a silver platter the last 2 years. So, our numbers are definitely, down year over year. And so we're trying to take everything that we can, and we're out there marketing, and we're out there educating and doing all the things. So it's really tough to go, oh gosh, there's something not right about that one. But at the end of the day, it probably best just to walk away at that point. So what we're trying to do is really be more cognizant of whether or not, especially people who are not our sphere, which so much of what we do is our sphere, but for those who aren't, is this truly the right fit? Because in my opinion, those are the hardest transactions to work, where you're constantly trying to prove your worth and prove yourself, because they don't know you, they don't know your work ethic and where you come from, versus those who do know us and trust us. They hire you for a reason, because they see that, because you're constantly paying them. So does that answer your question?
It sure does. That was really great. That was really great. Who would like to jump in next?
I will.
Okay, great.
So my biggest failure was not using KV Core and follow up. I got so busy and didn't put everything into KV Core and use it like it's so wonderfully set up for. And I missed out by not doing the follow-up on a huge multi-family deal. So I've used that, and I hired somebody to help me to build out the KV Core and to make sure that it was doing follow-up for me, which is great. Just texts or emails and those kind of things. So that has been a deal changer for me personally.
That's great. Did you use, just to touch base in terms of KV Core and training and learning it yourself, or hiring somebody, how did you decide to, how did you make it work for you?
I brought in a VA, and he's been wonderful, and he did all the classes on how to, build out your KV Core, how to put all the clients in, how to do follow up, how to do text blasts on an email blast when I had good properties that came on the market. He's kind of did it all on himself, which is great. And then he just gives me every week and every other day. In the week, he gives me a breakdown of everything that's gone on. And then every other day, he'll shoot me an email detailing anything that I've missed or I need to keep following up on.
That's awesome. Yes, I also hired my VA originally for that. He's so much more to my business now, but that is actually exactly what I did and put him all in all of Sylvia Dana's training. And he has been an absolute lifesaver for me. Absolutely. Yeah. I used Sphere Rocket. I know it looks like Louise Knight, who's on my team, just asked where you got your VA. I used Sphere Rocket and incredibly satified.
That's awesome. Yes, we used Rocket Station because this was something that from a mastermind that we had heard about before. I heard about the one you're speaking of that was at the EXP Con.
Yep, shareholders.
Yes, shareholders. That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll probably be at the EXP Con also. Justin Nelson. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think I'm going to be on his podcast next week.
Great.
They are. I can't tell you how much that has been such a deal changer to help you and not so that you don't feel overwhelmed. And KV Core is so awesome, and I just didn't recognize that. So I would just encourage everybody to make sure that they're putting all their sphere, their clients, everybody into KV Core, and then letting it do its thing.
Absolutely. All right, Vinod, how about you? How about one of your favorite failures and what you learned, how it changed your business from that?
Definitely. So my biggest failure, I would say, is not using video marketing. In my prior company, in my prior brokerage, I was into social media from a very long time, right? But we were not doing videos. But then we started making those videos on our TikTok and on Facebook. So that has blown our business. So in last 8 or 9 months, I have on my TikTok, I have almost 15,000 followers. I know it's not too much, but it's not too less as well. So on my Facebook, I have 10,000 followers, and we are continuously using it. And every single day, we are getting calls from people, from agents. And till date, for agent attraction also, I always say one thing that, okay, you are calling people, you are meeting people, you are talking to them. But actually, it should be agent attraction. What does that mean is that other agents from other organizations, from other brokerages, they should be attracted towards you. And I believe video marketing is probably one of the best ways.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get on TikTok and look you up because I'm dying to know what you are doing on TikTok.
The earlier you do, Lisa, believe me, it's amazing. You just have to make your first video, and this I have learned. I made my first video at the last EXP Con 2021. So I was so excited that just whatever you can do it, just do it. And I always say, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? So,
So, yeah, no, I do have one, but I always feel like, who cares what the heck I have to say? I want to give a shout out to Liz Brown, who is an EXP agent TikTok phenomenon, and she does all kinds of training, and she's a riot. And people who have gone through her classes are also, making a nice presence on TikTok. So it is happening. It is fun. I think we need to make it more fun, and you've given us that encouragement for sure, Vinod. Thank you so much. Chris, wrap up for us your favorite failure.
Okay. So, what comes to mind? Listen, I make mistakes every week, and I think that any human being in the anywhere is going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's inevitable. We got to prepare for it, expect it, and just keep going. You make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and keep moving on. I've made a lot of mistakes in the investment world, and trusting people and trusting investments that have gone badly. But as far as like real estate sales, I've got not. I would say maybe not having a clear business plan. I started this business. I started off very slow because I really I hadn't mapped out what I wanted to do. I hadn't set proper goals, and I didn't have like a clear path to get there. And so I kind of was just floating around and, spinning my wheels with no idea of, where I wanted to be and what I needed to do to get there. I mean, I knew I wanted to make money, and, I knew I wanted to be successful, but, that's the obvious stuff, right? So I think it's very important for, people that are getting into this space, and, even if you've been a realtor for quite some time, I find every year it's very important to set those goals and to have a fairly detailed roadmap of how to get there, and really think the process through of, what am I going to do on a daily and weekly basis to get to where I want to be. And, there was some great insights on social media and TikTok a minute ago. And I think those are great. It's great to utilize these free tools that we have. But I think it's important to write that into a marketing plan. Just have an outline of maybe you want to do 3 videos a week, and you want to run certain ads, and blah blah blah. You want to do Facebook ads, and you want to do whatever else. But write it all down and have a plan, right? And so for me, I was very slow to get going in this business because I never really had a plan, and and that's definitely a mistake that I've made, and it has been costly. But if we wanted to get into some more detailed mistakes, I could talk for days about the offers and the negotiation, and how to win bidding wars, and mistakes that we commonly make that are costs. I made a mistake on a condo a couple days ago, where I wrote an offer on a condo, and I gave them a little too much time with the irrevocable, and of course another offer came in 8 hours later, and it cost me. We lost the deal. I should have given them like a 4-hour irrevocable, and I gave them 10 hours, and that was, I'm 14 years of doing this. I shouldn't be making those mistakes, but it does happen, right? And all I can do is remind myself next time, don't slip up like that. You can't, offer negotiation and offer strategy is so crucial. And I mean, that's where the deals happen. Like obviously, you need to find your business and find your clientele, but once you get them, I hate losing bidding wars. I hate losing offers. I hate losing deals. So I'm normally better at having that process really airtight. And anyways, that was an example of me screwing up last week, and it cost me a sale.
Yeah, well, thank you. But I will hope that your buyer, that there's actually a better condo for your buyer around the corner.
Well, actually, we landed one yesterday.
There you go.
But I was still upset with myself that I hadn't caught that simple thing that normally I was just a little too relaxed, and I thought, what, I'll give these sellers lots of time, because the condo had been on the market for many weeks, and I thought I'll give them lots of time to think about it. I shouldn't have done that, and sure, my client ended up getting a great condo, and she's super happy, but the bottom line is that I'm here to be better than I was last week or the week before, and that's